Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and today I'm going to be doing a seedling update. So I'm going to be showing you all the seeds that I've already started and how they're doing. And then we're also going to be starting pansy seeds for the wintertime blooms, and I'm going to be starting some powwow white coneflower as a perennial. Okay, so one of the things I like to do for my seedlings is I like to give updates. I feel like there's a real disconnect between starting seeds and then planting the seedlings out in the garden. So I want to show how everything's going with my seeds. Now, any of the seeds that you see today, any of the seedlings you see today are seedlings that I started on camera. So there is a video about starting those seeds, so you can just look back through my channel to locate those. So let me go ahead and sort of grab some and we'll get started. I think we'll start first with Lisianthus. I started Lisianthus a little while back. Let me move the camera closer so you can see better. And I started 3 trays of Lisianthus, and they're very hard to see because Lisianthus are really tiny. But they are looking really, really good. Some of them are putting on their first set of true leaves. So they put, originally the start of the original seed leaves that come up, and then now they're putting on a second set of leaves, which is awesome. Had very good germination with Voyage Champagne, Celeb Madonna. Okay germination with Echo White. Actually, let me take a look. Echo White. I think I had 0 germination with Echo White. That's because up in here, this is all to Voyage Champagne. So Echo White, I might have had 1, but they were older seeds. And then Echo Pink Picotee, I had 100% germination. I just had a few of those left. And Lisianthus can be difficult seeds. I've grown them a lot of times through the year, so I really feel like my process works really well for me. So you definitely want to check out my video if you're wanting to start Lisianthus seeds. I start them during the summer so that I can plant them out in the fall, and then they overwinter for me, and then they start blooming next summer. So right here we have, I think this whole tray germinated, which is awesome. So Voyage Deep Rose looks like 100% germination. Celeb Blue Chateau, 100% germination. Corelli Peach, 100%. More Corelli Peach, more Corelli Peach. Voyage Green, 100% as well. So that one's looking really, really good. Once these germinated, I took the lids off, and now I just make sure that they stay moist and that they have minimum 16 hours of light per day. Okay, one more tray of Lisianthus. It looks like we pretty much had 100% germination across this one, including Voyage to First Love, Voyage to Lavender, Roseanne Black Pearl. And looks like we have really great germination with all of those. Okay, next let's switch to marigolds, which are doing beautifully. These varieties include Mr. Majestic Double Marigold and Proud Mary Mix Marigold. And these marigolds are what I'm growing for my fall garden. Looking really good. They do look like they need some water. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. And so for watering them, I just fill up my containers about halfway and then sink in my seedlings. Now, these are definitely getting to the point where their roots are starting to grow out the bottom. So I'll be potting them up in the next week or so. Potting them up to larger containers, and then I'll be pinching marigolds. Marigolds get bushier if you plant them, if you pinch them. If you don't pinch them, they just really get tall and skinny, which doesn't necessarily work as well for my plans for them. Okay, right here we have petunias, and looks like we had really great germination on this. This one is Super Cascade Burgundy Petunia. This one right here is Double Cascade Valentine. This one is another Super Cascade Burgundy Petunia. And this one is Easy Wave Burgundy Star. And I am growing these for my fall garden. Okay, and then this next group is a combination. And we do have some more Double Cascade Blue Petunias. I think we have, and this is Double Cascade Valentine Petunias. And this is another of the double cascade blue petunias right there. And not exactly 100% germination, but still really good. And then we also started a whole bunch of coleus for my garden. So this one is the chocolate mint coleus, almost 100% germination. Back here is another chocolate mint coleus, almost 100% germination. I would say maybe about 75. This one is the red Kong coleus, and all but 2 cells germinated, so that's looking really good. Okay, this next one has additional coleus. We have Kong lime sprite coleus, almost 100% germination. This one is Kong rose coleus, all but 1 germinated. We also have some Emerald Falls dichondra, and I would say all but 2 seed cells germinated. We also have Silver Falls dichondra. This one had a much less germination. It was only at about 50%, but still it looks like I'll have at least 6 plants. And then ornamental millet, which is almost about 100% germination because I still have some coming up. But that one's also looking really good. That's ornamental millet germinated super fast. Okay, I also have my cantaloupe. This is honey rock cantaloupe, almost 100% germination. A lot of them had multiple seeds came up in the container, but that one's looking really nice. Now, my butterbush squash is just starting to come up. Some of them are really high, some of them are low, so it's really coming up at like different rate, which is a little frustrating because one of them is already hitting the light at the top. And then this one right here is the acorn squash, and I've only had 1 germinate so far. But oh, look, there's more coming. I can see them pushing up. So we'll just leave those on the heat mats under the lights for the time being. Now back here, I've got all of my zinnias. These are all of my profusion zinnias, and so far I don't see anything coming up. But these can take up to, I think, 12 days. So we'll just let them keep going for the time being. I mean, the soil looks all moist all the way to the top. So, I mean, I think we're okay. It's just, they just haven't pushed through yet. So we'll keep an eye on those. Hopefully we'll get those profusion zinnias will get going okay. Okay, so looking good, those are all the seedlings. Let me take you guys also to some of the begonias that I started from tuber. And a lot of them are putting on a ton of growth already. And then remember, these were old tubers that I ordered from Bluestone Perennials. That's what it is. So these are older tubers. So this one is Begonia Pendula Pink. And I'm really kind of growing these on. I'm going to plant them out in September, out in the shade garden, and I want them to grow on, but I am going to be digging them up probably into November end of October into November, and going to be overwintering. This is the Begonia Sunburst, doing wonderful. It's another Begonia Sunburst that's just starting to peek through. This one is a Begonia Dinner Plate Crispa Apricot. Looking good. Now this is the other Pendula Pink, and I don't really see it coming up, but I have found that even the same type of variety can be very different. This is the Begonia Odorosa Red. These are the Bluestone Perennial plants that I forgot about on my vacation, so most of them died. I tried to restart them. I cut them back pretty savagely, and I'm trying to get them started again. Now, this is an update on the mums cuttings that I got from Clara Joyce. They were very weak cuttings. And so I've been growing these inside. I've been working with them inside. I was afraid if I put them outside that they were just gonna go kaput pretty quick. And some of them still did, even inside. So this one right here is Jack Straw. This one right here is Gertrude. This one is Alexis or Gertrude. I think it's Gertrude actually right there. This one is, oh no, that is Alexis. This one is Gertrude. I'm not sure. Let's be honest. I think maybe those were all Gertrude. Cranberry Wine. Jackstraw. cranberry wine. I ended up, like, I grew these outside for a while. Like, I started them inside, then I moved them outside, then it was just too hot, brought them back in. And while they were outside, they picked up a couple of caterpillars that did some serious damage on them. And so I had to pluck off the caterpillars and throw them back outside. But they are all recovering from that little buffet they had provided. Okay, there's a few more begonias in here. This one is another odorosa that is coming up right here. Oh, it's coming up in a lot of places on that one. This one right here is the dinner plate crisp apricot, and it is coming up. See it coming up in there. These are more of the bluestem perennial plants that I'm trying to see if come back. Some of them are coming back. This is the coreopsis coming back right here. And additional mums. So cranberry wine right there. This one right here is called Frosty Mum. Cranberry wine again, and another Gertrude. Okay, so that's the update on all the seedlings. But today we're going to start some new varieties of seeds. We're going to start pansies. The pansies are going to be something I'm going to be planting out late fall, probably November into December. And I did this last year and I started a bunch of pansies and violas from seed. Had wonderful luck with them. So I wanted to go through the process again because it is a little bit different than what you would typically see. And then I also want to start some powwow white coneflowers. Now, powwow varieties of coneflowers are hands down my favorite variety of coneflowers because they produce a ton of blooms per container. And also with the powwow white, they will bloom the first year. You can also get powwow wildberry, which I grow in my garden. I grow both varieties. And but starting from seed is really pretty easy. So I'm excited to get started with that. So let's talk through the basics. For the powwow white, I'm just going to be utilizing my Amazon containers. So they come with a 12 seed cell container and a water reservoir and a dome. Grab my dome. Humidity dome that goes on top. And if you're interested in that, you can utilize the link, the Amazon storefront link that is in my video description. And for my soil, I like to utilize Burger BM7. It is not a seed starting material, but it is a soil that I like very well and it works for me. So I'm just going to start by going ahead and filling my containers with the soil, and I'm going to do a little bit of compacting with it, not crazy. Okay, and then with that, I'm going to use my water reservoirs, and I'm going to fill these containers about halfway, a little over halfway actually. And then I'll go ahead and put my seed cells in there, and they will just go ahead and soak up the water. Okay, while they're soaking up the water, let's talk a little bit about powwow coneflowers. So these are pure white coneflower, about 3 to 4 inches across. They produce and produce and produce. You don't necessarily have to deadhead them. I choose to deadhead mine. You don't actually have to deadhead, and it will just keep producing blooms from early summer through fall. I feel like they're at their best their third year. They stay kind of smaller their first and second year. They are considered a perennial in zones 3 through 8. They prefer full sun to partial shade. You can do cold stratification when starting them. However, it's not required. If you're going to do cold stratification with the echinacea seeds, you want to do it for about 3 to 4 weeks. So that is putting them in a Ziploc bag between a couple of paper towels. Make sure those paper towels are moist, and then sealing the Ziploc bag and putting it in the refrigerator for 3 to 4 weeks. I don't have 3 to 4 weeks to give to these, so I'm choosing not to do it. And truthfully, I've never really done it before. I do think you get better germination rate if you do the cold stratification process, but I'm not stressed about it. Now these are buried about 1/8 of an inch deep, and they need to be at about 70 degrees Fahrenheit for germination, which is typically like my house. So I do not have to put them on a heat mat, which is great because I'm running out of space. Okay, we're going to be doing this a couple of different ways. The first way being I bought some powwow white echinacea seeds from Swallowtail Gardens. Let's see if I can get that last one out of there. And they're very tiny, and these are only about 1/8 of an inch deep. So I'm just going to put one in each of these seed cells. And then I'm just going to very lightly come over the top with some soil, just to lightly cover them. Press them down a little bit, just like that. Okay, and then next we're going to harvest some powwow white coneflowers that have already dried up on the plant. So let's go do that. Okay, this is my powwow white coneflower. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to harvest a few of these. I've got some kind of vine growing through this. There we go. I'm just going to come through. I'm going to harvest a few of these right above a set of leaves. And let's see if we can't get some viable seeds from these. And let's see, ow, I forget how prickly these are. We can harvest some seeds. Now, the seeds aren't as big as you would think. You have to really look for them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to pull them out. So like that right there is a seed. They kind of like, they're puffier at the end, like this. They're not this like long situation right there. I'm basically just pulling them out and putting them aside. All right. All right, I got several on that one. Now I have had the coneflowers reseed themselves in other places in my garden, which is great, and it's just easy just to dig those up and move them wherever I want. What I think I'm going to do is I'm still going to put the rest of this in a Ziploc bag so that I can have those for the future. I actually already started a powwow Ziploc bag over here, but I don't really see as many viable seeds in here. But we'll just go ahead and put these in here. Okay, so we got those done. So I'm just going to press these down. And I've got a bunch in here. Like each of these cells has like 4 or 5, okay? Whereas the other one just has 1. So I'm going to put one as, I'm going to put ST on it because I got those from Swallowtail. And then the other one I'll just leave blank as in that I harvested them myself, and we'll see which does better. All right, and then we are going to put the humidity domes on this, making sure that the humidity dome is closed and stays closed to hold the humidity in there until after they have germinated. And these are going to go underneath my lights, even though they don't require light for germination, but they're also going to, they're not going to be on a heat mat since they only needed to be at about 70 degrees Fahrenheit for germination, which is about the temperature of my home. Okay, that'll be a fun little experiment to see the difference between those, the ones that I harvested myself and the ones that I got from Swallowtail Garden Seeds. Okay, let's talk about pansies and violas. I'm just going to kind of wrap them up together as one. There is a difference between them. I believe it's like the number of petals or the direction of one of the petals. I can't remember the exact difference between them, but I love growing them and planting them out in the winter or early winter because they do really well in my particular zone. They're hardy down to about 10 degrees Fahrenheit. I do cover them if we're going to have excessively low temperatures. Typically, if we're going to get below like 25 degrees for more than a few hours, I'll go ahead and cover them just because I don't like to see the frost damage on the very top of them. But the thing about doing them, it's not that I enjoy them for the winter per se. It's that come late winter, early spring, they put on a ton of growth, and they really fill in my garden when my perennials are just starting to wake up. So they add a ton of color that really late winter, early spring when your perennials are just starting to break ground. But these, the pansies and violas, fill in so much space and so much color. And last year I started a lot of them from seed and had a lot of success. So I want to kind of go through that process with them. Now, pansies are technically short-lived perennials, but most of us treat them as annuals. I treat them as annuals. I pull them up when it starts to get hot because they do terrible in my heat. They are definitely cool weather plants, preferring to like hang out at around 65 to 75 degrees, which is perfect for the spring and the fall. So the big deal with pansies is they require zero light. They want darkness for germination. So we're going to be using my Vigo trays, and I don't use my Vigo trays as often just because they're not my favorite. But I am running out of Amazon trays right now, and I don't want to go buy more. And so we're going to start with these Vigo trays. Now these Vigo trays only have 8 cells. They do have open slits on the side, which is really great to keep your roots from balling up. So it adds a lot of oxygen to the side of each of the seed cells and allows for better quality root growth. They also have holes in the very bottom, so when the time comes to push out your seedling, it's very easy to work with, much easier than the Amazon ones. These also have a lid. Let me grab that. These also have a humidity dome. It goes on just like that. And I can fit 8 containers in one of these 10 by 20 containers, which works really, really great. So I'll end up putting them all in like that with their lids on the top. Now, these are all surface sow, so you're going to put them right on the surface. Then we're going to add a bunch of water to the water reservoir. Make sure we push the seed down so it has really great contact with the soil. And then from there, I'll show you my process to keep them dark during their germination period. Okay, so I ended up doing all 8 containers on here, and we need to go ahead and fill this up with water. And I'm just going to go ahead and take out one of the containers to fill with water. It just makes it easier. I'm going to fill it up by almost the whole way to the top because this is going to soak up water real quick. Okay, and then I ended up doing an additional 4 containers for the Amazon containers. And I still didn't even I don't have enough Amazon containers left to finish the 2 other varieties I'm going to do. So I'll just start those in a few weeks. Like I was saying, I need to probably pot up the cantaloupe needs to probably be potted up, and most the marigolds need to be potted up. So that'll free up some containers. Now, the next big step is make sure that these are nicely moist. And then we need to make sure that we have these all in the dark. And the easiest way to do it in the dark is I use a trash bag. Last year I did a blanket. Trash bag works way better in my opinion. And I basically just lift that up and we're just going to slide this whole container in here. All right, and then from there, we're just going to slide in our Amazon containers. All right, and then I just pull these closed. And that's it. And then I just have these here. Now, you do need to check these every couple of days, because as soon as these pansies germinate, you have to take them out of the bag and put them under your grow lights. You cannot allow them to continue growing in this bag because they will stretch out, become very leggy seedlings because they don't have access to light. So this is the way I do it. Another way I've done it in the past is I just put a big blanket over it. That worked really great too. I mean, there's lots of options, and I'll probably just pick this up and I'll put it down in the corner somewhere away from everything. But I want to show you guys on here so you could see what that all looked like. So gonna put them in the dark. They typically take, okay, so pansies are gonna take about 10 days to germinate. I feel like last year mine germinated anywhere from 7 to 12 days, just for reference. But I will be checking them on a daily basis. Once about 50 to 60% of the container is germinated, I will take them out and move them under the grow lights, where they will be under lights for 16 hours a day. I highly suggest for any seedlings that you're growing under grow lights that they're under for a minimum 14 hours per day. So I'll definitely keep you updated on those. And then of course the coneflowers, which we've got up here. So we have some that we harvested ourselves and then some that we purchased. So that'll be really fun to see how it goes between the two of those. And those coneflowers take anywhere from, let's see, I feel like it's 7 to 14 days to germinate. So we'll keep an eye on those as well. So that was fun. I enjoyed giving you guys an update on all of the existing seedlings that I have going. And then of course, getting some of these pansies started for winter, and then also going ahead and getting some of these coneflower perennials started for my fall garden. And I'll be planting those out. They'll be really little when I plant them out, but then they'll overwinter. All winter, they'll work on a root system, and then come spring, those coneflowers will be nice and large, and it'll be great. All right, you all, as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you drop me a comment below. Let me know what seeds you are starting, and if you are following along starting seeds with me. That's also why I try to do the seedling updates, to show you what your seedlings should look like along the way. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.